Boys, let me tell you, it has been quite the week for me. And the consequence of that is no middling Mondays this week. But here you go, you're getting something a little different. You're getting a bit more Mink, our favourite Italian Chaos Lord player, probably the only one we've got. But you know, we're happy we have him nonetheless. He likes to break cover, he likes to hug walls, he likes to kill his opponents in the name of the Blood God. And it's something. He's going to be up against Sky Silver, rocking the Force Commander. God, can you get any more classic than this? We got Force Commander versus the Chaos Lord on Caldaris Refinery. Classic matchup, and we even see two scouts coming out before Tactical Marines. You know what Sky Silver does with his Space Marines? I hope you do anyway, because he's been doing it for bloody years. He loves his grenades, he loves fully upgrading his scouts and being a real nuisance with them, running into retreat path and nading your shit. Normally we see him playing the Tech Marine and dropping a bunch of turrets, but he's not going to be able to do that in this case. So we'll see what he goes for instead. I feel like these sound effects are a little bit too loud here. Let's turn them down just a wee bit, actually. Let's turn them down a little bit more. Maybe I'm just vibing to this song a little bit too much. I don't know. But yeah, talk about a busy week. Well, we have had massive progress on the development of 2.9.7 patch of the Elite Mod, which is going to be an amazing patch. If any of you have been following this channel for a while, you'll know big things are coming to the Elite Mod now. And when I say big things, I mean a lot of new units are coming. It's going to be really awesome. They're going to be announced very soon. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to be announcing that on behalf of the Elite Mod as a whole. But there's also going to be some closed beta testing of these new units. So if any of you guys want to see how it's going to play out, particularly if you guys play the Imperial Guard or play as Orcs, it could be really interesting. I don't know what the hell just happened there for Sky Silver. Why did the Force Commander just drop fighting Heretics and CSM? Did he like disconnect? Or was he really just microing that much trying to kill the Chaos Lord? I don't know. Either way, he loses his Force Commander, and he hasn't even got any gens up yet. He's going to rebuy the Force Commander. Well, that kind of screws him, because his whole strategy is about upgrading scouts, so he needs to get the gens out ASAP in order to do that. Oh well. But yeah, in regards to testing, guys, if you want to get involved in that and you want to get access to the patch before everyone else when we do the closed beta testing, just direct message me on Discord and I can get you added to a testing section of the community Discord, where you'll get all the updates basically before everyone else, and we're going to schedule regular games on the test patch throughout all different skill levels, throughout all different game modes. I mean, really, 3v3s are the best game mode for QA testing anyway, because simply by having more players playing simultaneously, you're going to generate the most amount of bugs, so it's the best for testing. So even if you're only a 3v3 player, I know obviously my channel focuses exclusively on 1v1, don't worry about it, send me that direct message anyway, we can get you involved, we can get testing. That testing is due to start in about 2 weeks time. The patch is going to release early November if everything goes to schedule, and with your help, it will go to schedule. Back to the game, we don't actually see any upgrades yet on these scouts. Really, that Force Commander loss is just setting back massively, and he actually decided to invest in the Power Sword on the Force Commander instead, which I don't really understand why. And obviously the Power Sword is nice against things like CSM and the Chaos Lord, but the Force Commander already does his thing against them. You know, I don't feel like the Power Sword is necessary. It's nice, but it doesn't change anything. It just makes you better at things you're already good at. It doesn't help you deal with these heretics any easier, really. And they're proving a bit of a nuisance for him, destroying his gens. But Sky Silver, it looks like, is actually deciding to go for Devastators first before he gets any of his scout upgrades, which, I mean, I can't disagree with that. Devs at the moment are going to kill everything that Mink has gone for. And Mink has actually opted for double AC ticks right at the start. I wonder if that's a intentional play to counter Sky Silver, because AC ticks are way harder to wipe with grenades than default heretics. Default heretics you can wipe with one grenade on retreat, easy, guaranteed, full HP. AC ticks, not so much. So perhaps the devs are accounting to that. They obviously have no problem countering heretics as long as the heretics don't flank. So I like the choice. I And I do, yeah, here we go. Now we see the double shotguns coming out. They're going to do really well against the ticks. Ticks really need some support at this point. I don't really understand why Mink has gone for double aspiring heretics so early. I'd have gone for one that I'm using in combat, and then I'd have probably got the other AC tick once I seen him get sergeants and infiltration. Because yeah, if you don't have your AC, your ticks are going to get killed by Sky Silver's scouts and retreats. But he doesn't need it so urgently, you know. He needs things like Raptors or Noise Marines. Raptors would be really good against the Devastators. Noise Marines would be a hard counter against the Scouts. Really, you could go for both if you want. It wouldn't even be a bad choice, but then you would have to get more of a gem bash. But I feel like Mink has got such a big initial advantage, it could be worth it. Chaos Lord is... Oh, I was going to say he's getting really low here, but he's timed that quite nicely with the Dark Halo. I don't really like getting the Dark Halo on its own. I think that's a pretty poor choice because the Mantle of Hate gives him HP regen. You can see the Dark Halo's giving him no HP regen there because it doesn't do anything when you're in retreat. Nice Malignant Blindness there because the Force Commander probably could have come over and killed the Chaos Lord with his pistol. Yeah, only on 4 HP, so that Malignant Blindness probably did save the Chaos Lord there. I don't know if Sky Silver had the foresight to move the FC over, but he could have. So I think that was a nice use of his red there. Malignant Blindness is quite an underrated global. But yes, if he had Mantle of Hate, he would have extra HP regen, which would kick in whilst retreating, and there would have been absolutely no threat at all for the Chaos Lord to have died there in retreat. Yet the Mantle of Hate is only 20 power, and the Dark Halo is 30 power, so it's like... You're paying more for an upgrade that's worse. I don't get it. Anyway, he's going for the tier 2 tech, but there's a lot of pressure on his farm at the moment. Kind of a fuck up from Sky Silver because he isn't adequately separating his scouts. Oh, he's actually going to go for the retreat wipe. Wow, the scout sergeant coming in very clutch, perfectly positioned neared, and that is a dead heretic squad. Now the scout squads do have to retreat out of there, only the sergeants left. But man, they have really done what they need to do, and with the Force Commander here with his Power Sword, potentially proccing some specials, and for the Emperor shotguns, these heretics have got no chance in this engagement. And you would have to think there's going to be a bit of a gem bash here. Now what's happening up here? CSM upgraded with Eternal War, kind of relegated to capping duty. I don't like this. These are your most expensive unit. They're your best counter to the scouts, as well as being a good counter to the Force Commander. You've upgraded them to be even more expensive, and you're just running around capping with them. I don't like that, Mink. You know, you've gone for the fast tech, so you should be back here defending your power. That should be the priority. Now, I do like the decision to put the Chaos Lord into range stance. He wouldn't have achieved a whole lot chasing around the attacks in melee there and getting focused down by the DPS of the scouts. I do have to question the fact that your units are running in one by one though, Mink. I mean, that's... I don't know. Is that really very effective? Probably not. And there's a lot of bleed coming out now. Let's have a look at levels. So both the scouts are level 2, FC level 3. Tax and devs not really doing much. Level 2 ticks, no level 2 CSM, level 2 CL. So actually, levels are honestly kind of even. What's the CSM at again? Yeah, pretty much on par with the tax. Tax should get a level if they can get another gen, but I don't actually think they're going to be able to. Ooh, looks like there was another really nice grenade from the scouts. Actually takes out 2 CSM models, that's brutal. Oh, he's going to go for the retreat wipe. Oh, he just mistimes it. It's hard to hit it when the unit has been retreating for ages, because as units retreat, they gradually get faster and faster and faster. So if they've already been retreating for 10 seconds, it throws off your timings for your grenades, because they're going way faster than you used to. So it was a nice attempt, but unfortunately it didn't work out. And InitialMink's strategy of just taking for the fast BC is working for now. He's got the BC out, but he is still down squads, so, you know, it's a question really of what is he going to do with this BC. At the end of the day, the BC doesn't actually gen bash that quickly, but Sky Silver's still in tier 1, so there's not really anything he can do to counter it. He could get Vengeance rounds, he already has them, but they're not really in the correct position to do anything. Yeah, Chaos Lord is already tying them up in melee, so they're just going to have to retreat. They can't do anything here. Oh my god, he might not even be paying attention. I hope he is. It's the Chaos Lord, come on man, he only does like 30 DPS per melee. Oh man, he's going to get the shots in as well. Oh, this dev squad looks dead. Oh no, it's going to wipe. Oh, that's terrible for Sky Silver. Totally forgets about his devs. Now he's losing his gen farm. You can see the BC doesn't bash very fast, but Mink is actually being pretty smart. He knows it's going to take ages to bash that, so instead he's just going to decap it and delay the gens even further. Summon in Bloodletters just to, I guess, do a bit of damage to the Force Commander, stop him capping. Okay, I mean, that's alright. Yeah, makes attacks retreat, great. So now the Blood Crusher can finish off the gens. Wow, this puts Mink in an amazing position. Now the problem for Mink is he still doesn't have a lot of units to cap. But honestly, he's forcing off the scouts quite well, so hopefully he doesn't get naded here. He needs to be careful, could get retreat naded. Probably will. That might be a little late. No, it's perfect. Another dead CSM. Level 3 scouts. Pretty sure when they get levels up it does buff the damage of their nades. Maybe, I'm not sure to be honest, but they're getting scarier either way. They do get a lot more energy, which is definitely a big threat. Especially once they get the infiltration, they can just start whizzing around all over the place and you can't really do much to stop it. Unfortunately for Mink, the scouts actually do manage to cap the power point there, but it's, you know, it's only a default power node, so it's only given +5 power. It's not really a huge deal. He does have the gen farm over here noded, so that gives him, that's basically another gen +9. But now there's double Blood Crushers. For some reason, Mink has not caught the VP this entire time. He needs to get the bloody VP because he is super far behind on VPs at this point. You know, I get the idea of win the opponent in terms of military and forget the VPs and you can just base lock your opponent and then you don't have to care. But, no, he's not really base locking his foes. It's hard to base lock people with Blood Crushers since they're relatively slow melee vehicles. You're going to struggle to base lock scouts. You can see the DPS on the scouts is getting pretty insane now they're getting their levels. We see the last dev out as well. Does take out the node again, so it's really keeping Sky Silver down on power, which is really important right now. But honestly, I don't like this Bloodletter choice. You know, Bloodletters are a great unit, obviously. They're a nice counter to the last devs. Ugh. There's a bit of a desperate pair of grenades there. They are a really good counter to the las devs, so that's one thing, but you can still get missile attacks as Space Marines. You can get a Power Fist on the Force Commander, which is actually pretty good against Blood Crushers since they don't have melee resist. I'd rather just get more ranged DPS. I'd rather get like another squad of CSM, not gonna lie, and just shoot down the scouts. They'll also melt the last cannon Devastators really quick once they get Mark of Tzeentch. So I would like to see Mark of Tzeentch as soon as possible. It does increase their DPS output even against scouts. Not by much, but it does increase it. But it will melt that las cannon dev as well as the tactical marines. So I think it would be good. I don't think Bloodletters are a Telbra choice. I just worry that they will get kited by a good scout user and just rip to pieces because they are only piercing. Well, they are only light armor, so they're vulnerable to piercing. Yeah, like, this is a really bad jump here. What the fuck's this? He's just... Oh my god. Terrible. Mink, come on. You should have known not to do that. You know he's going to be He's lost the Bloodletters already. Oh no. And he didn't even get the Mark of Tzeentch, so he's taking forever to kill these last cannon devs that are in the cover. And where are the Blood Crushers? Why are you taking an engagement without your Blood Crushers? Oh, he actually activates Slaughter in his CSM and wipes the last devs. That was sloppy from Sky's behalf. He should have saved at least one shotgun blast. Well, he didn't, so I guess honestly it worked out not getting Mark of Tzeentch, but at this point you just need to get out of there. The Blood Crushers are way too far away. You're just bleeding CSM and feeding him XP. This has been kind of crazy game in terms of wipes. Levels are coming in thick and fast. Level 5 CL, what the fuck? 5 Force Commander as well. Jeez. But VPs are a problem for InitialMink. Needs to get capping the VPs urgently. Oh, we see Plague Marines now. Interesting. You see, why would you get the Plague Marines now. I feel like that would have been a choice before. Get the ranged DPS to counter the Scouts, and potentially Razorback, which I think would be quite an obvious choice against double Blood Crushers. Get a Razorback and a Missile attack, Missile back. You can kite the Blood Crushers and just burst them down. So I do like the Plague Marine choice. I think either Plague Marines or Zinch Marines would have been pretty cool. Honestly, you could have got Raptors as well, because they suppress the Scouts when they jump on them, so then they can't run away, unlike Bloodletters, which obviously don't suppress, and are really easy to nade spike. I don't know. It's an option. He's gone for the Plague Marines now. I think it's a good choice, but I would have liked to have seen it earlier instead of the Bloodletters. I don't think Bloodletters are always the correct choice. Chaos Lord's going to find himself in a pretty sucky position here. What's he got now? Oh, he's got Harness of Rage now in Tier 2. That doesn't make any sense. If you're going to get the Harness of Rage anyway, you should always get the Harness of Rage first, because it's better than the Dark Halo in terms of tankiness. Like, it's just better. 150 extra HP and 2.5 HP per second regen is way better for tankiness than the plus 500 you get from Dark Halo that only works when you've got the Halo up and doesn't actually recharge when you're in combat. So that was a mistake from Mink, for sure. And it would have saved him the Malignant Blindness in Tier 1, so he'd have more Bloodlusts or Blood Sacrifices in Tier 2. Okay, so we see some Stern Guard dropped in. Sky's obviously really limited on his power, which Plague Marines are now going to go and pressure even for more. I mean, God, he really can't catch a break here, can he, Sky? Must be so frustrating. Every time he leaves this bloody gem farm, he gets bashed. Ah, finally, Mac of Zinch. Nice. Sorry if the Discord just pinged. Forgot to turn that off. I've actually got a new computer, which was part of the reason these casts were delayed. I had to re-download Dawn of War, and then there were issues with it, and yeah, I had to install a lot of other things. I had to get a new mic working. I've got a new mic working now as well, so the kitching noises, I think they should be pretty much done now. You're not going to hear that, so sorry if you guys like that, but wasn't really intended. So that's going to be done now. Okay, this is a kind of crazy engagement, but there's not really any AV. There's no Power Fist Force Commander here. You got two sources of AV, missile attacks and potentially Stern Guards, so all you do is send 2 Blood Crushers at each source of AV. You're good. And they're getting healed by the Heretic Worship. Alright, I need to mute the Discord. Hang on. Here we go. Where's the Discord? There it is. There it is. Nice. Alright, let's continue. Yeah, so until he gets the Power Fist and can actually counter-initiate these Blood Crushers a bit better, I don't really think Sky can be taking the army-on-army engagements here. And yeah, honestly, I don't know what Sky's going to do now, because Mink's already Tier 3 and Sky is completely power-starved. He's got nothing. If Sky, mate, if you win this match, you're a fucking legend. Like, fair play for not wanting to concede, because look at the compositions right now. I think most people in the Space Marine situation would want to concede the fuck out of this fight. He's going for Sacred... Oh, here we go. Fully upgraded Force Commander. He is dumping all of his resources in this Force Commander. Sacred Standard and the Power Fist. Now, this little blob here might not look like a lot of models. It's not a lot of models, but it's going to be hella strong. Blood Crushers need to be supported here before they go in, or they will drop very quickly. That said, Zinch Marines will do very nicely against these units. Especially if the Chaos Lord goes in first with his tankiness, ties them up. Should probably tie up the Stern Guard, they'll do a lot more damage than the bolters from the missile attacks. Here we go. He's made up the VPs. They're even again. I mean, how the fuck is Sky going to deal with this? This is almost impossible, because by the time he deals with the double Blood Crushers, Mink's going to have a Great and Clean One or something like that. Great and Clean One would be awesome right now. I mean, honestly, so would the Phobos. Great and Clean One's obviously a lot less vulnerable to the Force Commander than a Phobos. But then again, the Great and Clean One you can counter with swapping to the Plasma Gun, and then that's better against everything else as well. But he's just so tanky, it doesn't really matter. One Plasma Gun, you know, it's not going to kill Great and Clean One. So Sky's just ratting about. He obviously knows he can't take an army versus army fight, so he's using his scouts to decap the Rex. I mean, that's cool, but Mink's already nearly got enough for a Guo, so I don't really know what he's doing. Maybe Sky can like sneak in a VP cap at the end and take this nonetheless. Before the Emperor comes down to the Stern Guard. Okay, now they just need to focus fire the Blood Crusher. No, he's missed microing. He's moving to shoot the other one. Why? Don't even bother. He actually gets Flesh over Steel, and this is now a dead Blood Crusher. The Force Commander's getting special attacks, which you don't want because they don't do a lot of damage to vehicles. That's one Blood Crusher down, but now there's a Land Raider Phobos to take over. Okay. Alright, Sky. You got the Blood Crusher, mate. Well done. But, I don't think that's going to help you. You need to get the VPs, and you need to somehow have enough for a Dreadnought. You know, maybe if he gets, like, a Melter Dreadnought, he can Flesh over Steel the Phobos, and then hunt it down with the Dreadnought? Maybe? I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but he's never going to get a Dreadnought. He's on 30 power, for God's sake, and he's only got 130 VPs. Those scouts would have been way better off in that instance, capping the VPs instead. Because, you know, when you're Space Marines and you are against Chaos, you always can win on VPs. It's like Eldar versus IG. You can just pop out constantly and decap those points. Especially on a map like Caldaris. It's a big map. It's not like you can angle yourself to cover both the central and the natural VP at once. Not really. Even things like Blastmasters and P-Devs don't work because of the elevation on the natural VPs. And he uses a nice drop pod to reinforce everything, and he's got a good amount of requisition left over, but honestly there's just no VPs really. I mean, he's at 79 VPs with a triple cap against him right now. They are depleting rapidly. Scouts are doing their thing to try and deal with Plague Marines, but, you know, Plague Marines are Plague Marines. He drops 2 grenades on them and they don't even lose a model. No, he's not paying attention, though, is Mink. Okay, he is. He loses 1 Plague Marine, but I don't know. I feel like Mink is overcommitting to this fight. He doesn't need all these units up front. Now they're all forced off. And he's only got a Land Raider Phobos and a Blood Crusher to defend. He does have some ticks. Now we can use the scouts to take a lot of the hits from the Phobos and just distract whilst he gets the cap down here. But yeah, I don't know, there's just so much damage to go through on the Phobos. The Phobos is reversing into a Force Commander with a Power Fist, which is rarely a good move. He's got the decap now. He's going to kill the Phobos, isn't he, here? Because Mink's already thrown away all of his support, pushing too far forward. He's got Stern Guard for the Emperor Tactical Marines and a Force Commander with a Power Fist. And he has nothing to deal with it. This is why I think the Great and Clean One would have been a lot better. The Great and Clean One's just so tanky, and he can really control the Force Commander. The Phobos was so vulnerable to a Power Fist Force Commander. And Sky Silver is dropping in more Tactical Marines. Fuck the Dreadnought. He just needs more units on the field right now. Blood Crusher goes down. The Phobos is still just sat here. What is it doing? Get the Phobos out. You should keep rotating the Phobos so that the Force Commander can't hit it. It doesn't matter. The Force Commander's dead. What am I talking about? The Force Commander's been dead for ages. Wow. Chaos Lord for some reason is in range stance. He really should be tying up the Tactical Marines with a missile launcher. He does at last. And Phobos, I don't think, he's not got Vengeance rounds in. No. That's not Vengeance rounds. He's got Kraken rounds. He's had Kraken rounds in. And look at this, the Phobos is healing from the worship. Wow, I totally forgot the Phobos is now considered a demon. You know, demon engines and all that. And Sky Silver just grenades his scouts in absolute frustration. I feel like that Phobos should have been totally dead, but the Stern Guard were in Kraken rounds and not Vengeance rounds for, like, nearly all of that fight. RIP to Sky Silver. That is going to be the game. Scouts are OP. I'll be honest with you, scouts are annoying as fuck to deal with. Oh my god, who was I playing? What was I playing recently? I feel like I was playing Commando Knob versus Cry's FC, and he just went with fully upgraded scouts. And even as the Commando Knob, who has insane early game range DPS, and shooters who are really good range DPS early on, I still found the scouts so hard to deal with. They're annoying, but to be fair, Mink, you didn't get any of the tools that typically are the best scout counters. Noise Marines to shut down the scouts every time they try and move in and use grenades, Raptors to chase them down and suppress them so they can't run away. You didn't get either of them, so it's obviously going to be harder to deal with them. And then you went for Bloodletters instead of going for an extra Zinch Marine squad or Plague Marines earlier on. And then you just threw away the Bloodletters, so I feel like you could have countered the scouts a lot better, but it didn't really matter because honestly, Mink's pressure on this power farm, it was just non-stop all game. And to be fair to Sky Silver, he did get a few bashes off himself, but when he did so, he kind of committed his entire army and he lost most of the map, so it didn't really work as effectively as it did for Mink. So there you go, that's the cast for today. I ain't got nothing else to say. It's your boy Torpid out.